Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm now joined by the walking skyscraper himself, Greg Brzezowski, and his shifty counterpart, Alex Sharon. Now, guys, Dwight Howard recently had a suspension lifted, and this suspension was due to technical fouls. Now, Greg, is the NBA handing out too many technical fouls to players?
No way, Christian. Now, guys, what is the most annoying part of an NBA game? It's the players complaining about the referee's calls. It breaks up the action. It's terrible to watch. It gives the league a bad name. So what David Stern tried to do in the beginning of the year was make sure that he implemented a system.
Greg, how can you say that these technical fouls aren't out of hand? Do you know what the rules say? They say that if a player makes aggressive gestures, if they punch the air. Michael Jordan, in his famous finals victory, when he punched the air, everyone knows it. He would have had a technical foul according to these rules.
No, he wouldn't, because they give exceptions for heat-of-the-moment opportunities. They have given very lenient calls on this, and they've toned it back a little from the beginning of the season.
They're already on pace to break last year's record. Rasheed Wallace isn't in the league. That's not good.
Look, it's becoming a problem, and I'm sick of seeing overpaid millionaires complain about a referee's whistle. It breaks up the game, and it's terrible for the sport. Focus on the game, not on the referee's calls.
I don't understand how you can say that.
I'm tired of technical fouls. They just take too much time. So, yeah, I think that they're giving out too many. Now, a guy who's always outspoken, Stan Van Gundy, the coach of Dwight Howard, has recently criticized David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, as calling him a bit of a dictator. So, Alex, is there this freedom of speech in the NBA?
Oh, I completely agree with Stan Van on this. David Stern is actually bringing the league down with this dictatorship. And you need to have free speech for this league to succeed. It's built on freedom of speech. We saw the decision. It was filled with LeBron's freedom to tell everyone where he was going. The league's at its all-time high right now because the players are allowed to express themselves.
Look, there's a line, and you know what? It needs to be drawn. And that's why I think that while there is no freedom of speech in the NBA, it's a good thing. Here's the thing. Players can sometimes say the most ridiculous things. Coaches can say ridiculous things. But David Stern runs a tight ship.
Greg,
he has been able to implement a uniform code where he has players dress after games.
Exactly.
He's really tried to manage the league.
That's a bad thing for the league.
Why is that a bad thing for the league? Do you remember when players were dressing up in do-rags coming to the game, how bad of an image that was given for the sport?
What does it matter to me? We just watched a Fab 5 documentary where these players changed the league because of the way they dress.
Okay.
These players need to be able to dress the way they want to.
But we're talking about
the league a bad image.
We're talking about
speech and the
here.
speech of what people say as well can really detriment the league. When players say ridiculous comments, it comes back to bite the team and the league.
It starts with speech. Where does it end up? I mean, yes, you have to control it, but there's a certain extent that has to be.
Right. No, there's a line that cannot be crossed, and sometimes players do and sometimes players don't. So, you know, it's ambiguous. So, okay, really quickly. Which players are going to have the biggest impacts on their team for the rest of the season, either positively or negatively, Greg?
Well, I can't just look at one player. I got to look at the entire Denver Nuggets core system. Ever since Carmelo Anthony got traded to New York, this team has really meshed together because all of his bad energy that he had with the team not wanting to be there left. They're now 7-2 since he's come back, and you've had the players from New York like Wilson Chandler and Raymond Felton, Danilo in the 2 games that he's played mesh really well with J.R. Smith, Nene, Ty Lawson. The team is still in great contention for a playoff spot, and they're going to be able to give a team a tough series in that first round.
Oh, I've been a little harder on you this block, Greg, but I'm going to have to actually agree with
you.
Alex, I'll give you this. But my player to watch is going to be Amari Stoudemire. Everyone's been talking about how great Amari is, how he's put New York on his back. Let's not remember what he's done in Phoenix the past couple years in the playoffs. He's kind of disappeared during games. Yeah, he had a couple big games last year in the playoffs, but he's going to disappear just like he did then. He doesn't have the legs for it. You know, he's never had the legs for it, and you got to watch out for him. He's on that technical track also.
Yeah, but we'll see if a guy like Carmelo Anthony and Chauncey Billups can kind of push him to perform in the playoffs. It'll be definitely a lot of fun to watch. Time for us to take our final break, but when One-on-One returns, I will be joined by Eric Kendall to discuss some of the greatest examples of teams overcoming late-season adversity. Don't go anywhere.